very much, Premier. Merci beaucoup. Who would like to go with the first question? And I would probably ask the Minister and the Premier to answer from here. It's probably easier for the camera folks. Question? Our staff here will go with the microphone. Roy?
Mr. Robichaud, Minister Robichaud, a lot of expectation here was that the extra fiber would be coming from deer wintering areas and other buffer zones. You're saying you're going to rearrange habitat gradually over a 15-year period and decrease habitat reserve size. Can you just comment on what you're doing here to protect wildlife habitat?
First of all, we said that we will double the protected natural area. In New Brunswick, we have now 4% of the Crown land that is part of the PNA, protected natural areas. We'll double that to 8%. Just to give you an idea, the protected areas in New Brunswick will now be half of the size of PI. So it's a major increase of the natural protected area. And it was also part of one of our platform commitment. So the 600,000 cubic meters that we're adding will come from our Crown land, but basically that wood will be harvested in area where it was very difficult for the industry to have access, hills, mountains, etc. So not only that we're providing more woods for the industry, create jobs and create a stronger prosperity for the province of New Brunswick, but also we are very serious about making sure that we have a good, sustainable forest industry for the long term, and one of our action, it is to double the protected natural area from 4% to 8%.
If I could just add to Minister Robichaud as well, and there'll be technical people that can elaborate on specific questions after, but you brought up the question of deer wintering yards and the importance of habitat protection, and that is key with this plan as well. And so as an example, there will be no active deer wintering areas that will be impacted. And in the work that goes on, there will be very active monitoring to ensure that we don't negatively impact, whether that be deer habitat or the greater wildlife habitat and the resource that is so important. So again, there is very specific work that will be done to ensure that does not take place.
Minister, how do you see this impacting private woodland owners?
Quite the contrary. I do believe impacting negatively, no. Impacting positively, yes. Because there's nothing better for the private woodland owners to have a strong industry in New Brunswick where they can sell their wood. If you look at what took place in 2008, the private woodland industry has been able to sell 600,000 cubic meters. Why? Because the industry was struggling at that point. They have been able to sell 1.1 million cubic meters in 2013, almost a record year. Why? Because the industry was gaining some momentum. The discussion, the commitment that we have from the industry, not only that we will provide more woods available for the industry, but the investment that they will do will need them more wood from the private sector. So that's the reason why we're saying that it's not only a good news for the private sector, it's also a very good news for the private woodland owners, because the industry are telling us, and we will tell the private woodland owners, that we will need to buy from them an additional 250,000 cubic meters per year as soon that they will make the investment in their facility. Well, you're going to see starting tomorrow some serious commitment that will take place around the province with the private sector. Just follow us in the next couple of days and weeks. You will see very serious commitment from the private sector with a specific timeline, with a specific target, and with a specific date when those investments will take place.
And just again, following up on that, if we look at the private sector investments that will be coming, we believe some $600 million worth of investments in mills, upgrading productivity and competitiveness. What that will mean is it will mean extra people, new jobs, good paying jobs in mills, on the ground in the forestry sector, but it will mean more people within the industry as private woodlot producers being able to harvest and sell their product as well. So this is great news in terms of seeing this sector that has been struggling turning around and going forward for the future. And it's all about competitiveness, and that's been the work that has been going on over the last 2 years to ensure that the confidence is there in the private sector to be able to invest into the future.
Oui, Monsieur le ministre Robichaud, Étienne Dumont de Radio-Canada. J'aimerais savoir, qu'est-ce que vous répondez à ceux qui trouvent que ça vous a pris trop de temps ou que ça a été trop long avant que votre gouvernement fasse cette annonce-là et qu'on a perdu des centaines de millions d'investissements dans le domaine forestier entre-temps?
Bien, si les critiques ont seulement à dire qu'on a pris un peu de temps, je pense que ça démontre que c'est un bon plan. Parce que si on n'a pas d'autre chose à dire que le temps, on n'a pas grand-chose à critiquer sur le plan qu'on vient d'annoncer. Il n'en demeure pas moins qu'il fallait prendre le temps nécessaire pour bien faire cette stratégie forestière. Il y avait un élément clé qui était très important pour nous, qui manquait, c'était l'étude qui a été dévoilée à la fin de 2012 sur le manque à gagner, le competitive gap, excusez le terme anglais, que l'industrie et le gouvernement avaient